Hi guys, we're looking at number 3 now, so we're planning to start, or starting, we're doing it now. We're not going to wait until we're in a different situation, we're planning now. You've been there long enough, or you know your environment, and that can be as much as talking to your neighbours to find out what it's like, okay? Now you want to know, and you want to think about, and this is really important, what do you eat, and what do you want to grow? So you can start off in one of two ways. You can look at the fish. What fish do I want? Okay, every country will be different as to what fish are available, and within the country different states will also have that. So for instance, it's a lot harder to get barramundi in different states other than Queensland, and just like it's a lot harder to get trout in any other states that are up more north. Okay, we can't grow trout in Queensland unless we're in a fully insulated area, container almost, artificial zone, however you want to put that. They're a cold water fish. They need cold water. They start to die after about 18 degrees. Queensland is 18 is, you know, getting low almost. On the other hand, you can't sit there and want to grow barramundi, which is a warm water fish, in Melbourne. It doesn't work that way. And it's the same with no matter what country you're in, you have to understand what fish is local to my area. And people ask me, how do I find out what fish I could grow? Well, you need to think of two things again with this. I know I like my fingers, I know, I'm very hands-on. So, are you wanting to eat the fish, or are they going to be friends? Either or is an option. I mean, crikey, you can raise koi fish, and sell them. I mean, some koi fish are worth an absolute fortune. Some, they just look cool. I mean, seriously, I don't have them, probably will never have, but I know where I can go and play with some. So I'm good with the koi department. Goldfish work super well. Catfish, they're on every continent except for Antarctica. So catfish are an awesome choice, and they've got a really good flexibility of what temperatures they can tolerate. But what's native to your area? If I tried to move one species to a different state here, we have laws against that. Some you can, some you can't. Some it depends if you're a commercial business or a hobby farmer, and you know, they're all things to think about. How do you find out what fish? Well, you identify, do I want to eat it or is it going to be a friend? There is absolutely nothing wrong with having fish in the system as your friends, as pets that are providing the fertilizer for your veggies. Not everybody eats their chickens. In fact, a lot of people have chickens, keep chickens for the fertilizer and for the eggs. I'm trying to work out how I can have chickens here. I just don't have the setup for it, but I'm trying to work it out because I like to be able to give them a good range. But anyway, so there's nothing wrong with having fish as friends, okay? Frankly, that's what I do. I rarely eat fish. I will occasionally. I grew up fishing, okay? So it's not as if I'm squirmish about catching, killing, cleaning, and cooking fish. It's just something that it's a personal preference I don't like doing, and that's okay. So I take that into consideration. I could have goldfish. As it happens, I have some silver perch inside that are waiting for this system to be cycled. Okay, so I'm sweet. So you work out, are you wanting to eat them, or are you wanting to have them as friends? Then Google your area, so your state or your county or whatever it is that you live, and then the word aquaculture. That's fish farming. And that will be able to highlight what fish are available in your area, what's native to where you live. Okay? You'll be able to find out what the laws and regulations are, because every country, every state is different. Okay, so it's really vital that you understand what you can and can't do. And people say, oh, but it's in my backyard, no one's going to know. Yeah, I hope that's the case, but I'm certainly not going to risk it because I don't want those $25,000 fines. Okay, so for me, I know I'm sweet, I'm set. The other thing is working out what vegetables do you want to grow. Okay, now as I said, I mentioned before that I've got, they're my turmeric wicker beds, turmeric and ginger, and I can see Simba's tail moving there. He's in my fern garden at the moment. Turmeric grows so well in an aquaponics system. Believe it or not, it really does. But it takes 9 months to grow, okay? 9 months. In that 9 months of growing one plant to get the turmeric, and you know, you'll get a good lot of root system out of that. I could have grown so much more spinach, kale, bok choy, tomatoes, cucumbers, so many, everything and anything else in 9 months. So one crop versus 20 odd crops. That's how I weigh up how I decide what I'm going to grow. So for me, I could put a pumpkin seed in there and watch it sprout, but I know it's a huge vine, okay? And I've had, excuse me, I've had them around here before, and they've gone up and down, literally up and back, along a 13-metre fence of the vine, and lots of pumpkins, but you've got to be prepared of whatever plant that you put in there. That is a possibility. Sweet potatoes, they absolutely love aquaponics systems. Again, long growing, and if I put them in there, that whole bed in just a few weeks will be covered in sweet potato. Awesome, I love sweet potato, that's great, but I'm not growing anything else. Now, on the other hand, I can put that, I'm in my own backyard here, I can put that out the front, because I hate lawns, so anything I can do to get rid of the lawn. The only lawn I have is the nature strip, which is capital time. So I put them in just in the bark. I put some of the slips in the bark out at the front that was all around the wicker beds that I've got there. The whole yard was covered with sweet potatoes. And I got some, I sound like a fisherman here, it was that big, but seriously, I've had some that are that big, and that's 2 to 3 kilos worth of sweet potato. Okay, and that's what happens. They were put out there, left alone, the water did everything, they put the roots into the ground, the tubers grew in the roots, like out from the root system, all underground. So that anxiety moment when you go to dig it up, you go, are they actually, is there anything here? And oh my God, I was totally surprised. It was my first year of sweet potatoes. And I didn't actually end up getting them all up, and I found that I've got a whole heap of slips out there now, and it's already started to take over the front yard again. Awesome, I love sweet potatoes. So I'll be doing what we call the bandicoot, and I'll be pulling them up as needed now. I've got a real good supply in the garden still. But anyway, back to your aquaponics system. Faster growing veggies are awesome for your system. Now you can put rosemary or mint. Mint is going to take over your whole system and plug up your pipes, just as a warning there. Most plants will do quite well in an aquaponics system, but if they're a perennial, so if they're always there as opposed to a seasonal or an annual, so a perennial is like your mint or your lavender, your sage, they're always there. They just don't always flower, but they're always usable, okay? Your seasonal or your annual, they've got that season lifespan, you know, so they sprout, they grow, they reach maturity, they give off seeds, they die, they're done, okay? So your seasonal, also known as your annual, are your perfect plants to be growing in your aquaponics system. Now I will be putting some sage in there, and I will be keeping it well trimmed, sage and thyme. And that's because it will help with getting beneficial bugs into the area, and I want to do that. But I can't put my lavender in there. My God, my lavender would take up, the one that I've got at the front, it will take up half that grow bed. It's over 1 metre wide. And that's the thing, you've got to make sure that what you're putting in there is suitable. So you can sit there and have a tiny little overflow happening from somewhere in your system and have water just slowly dripping into a plant, and that way you can be supporting different trees. How awesome would that be? I mean, seriously, I saw someone do that actually. They had a tiny little pipe coming, I can't remember fully the system, I just remember seeing the pipe going and dripping into, and it was literally a drip, drip, drip. So it wasn't a leak, but it kind of had that sensation of that, into their passion fruit, and the passion fruit was huge. We get so much nutrients out of our aquaponics system, why not share the love? So, and you know, I have all of the wicker beds. I use my fish tank water to water them, so they're getting the nutrients as well. So plan what you want to grow, and I'm going to do a couple of different examples of ways you can grow things. Some things will work better than others, just purely because of where I'm living and how I've got it set up. There are many different designs out there. You've got to think about, before you design, what do I want to grow? Okay, so I'm going to go on one more thing. I know I ramble, sorry. A lot of people use big piece of PVC pipe. They cut holes in it, they've got baskets in the holes, and I will show a demonstration of that, but it won't be a running one. which is great. And that's what commercial systems do. They have rafts, or they do it in the PVC pipes. And they grow lots of lettuces and spinach and lots of greens. Greens love that system, right? And you get the big root system dangling down. Awesome. But then they go and they try to put tomatoes in that system. Tomatoes, depending on the variety, can grow up to 6 feet tall. That's not something that's going to be supported in one of those systems. It's going to fall over, collapse, and if your system isn't steady and stable, the whole system can collapse. But at the very least, the plants will fall out. Okay? So that's why before you even think about your design, what do I want to grow? I can add PVC piping and do that type of system around the fence line. Should I choose? I choose not to. But should I choose, I could definitely integrate it. Okay? By knowing what you want to grow will then help you identify what type of system you want to build. And it's very common for people to just build a system and then, oh, what do I want to grow? Well, you can do that, sure, but you're not going to get the best out of your system. Okay, so knowing what you want, it's like you can grow onions in your system. You can grow carrots and beetroots and everything like that. Is it suitable? Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, onions take a lot longer to grow. Again, same with garlic and ginger. They still do it, but you take up a lot of space. Okay, beetroots, yeah, heaps of beetroots in there. You know, there's some things you sit there and go, yeah, that's worth it. And some things you go, 9 months, no, or 5 months, no. I'd like it to grow a bit faster than that, or I'd like to spend it, you know, have other things in that area, or it's going to get too big. Plan what you want, and then you can work out your system design. Okay?